Happy holidays, everybody. I wanted to come on here because there's a woman who did a video recently talking about, how men are mad at women who don't want to upkeep their hygiene. In her words, she was talking about how women are musty and men are mad about it. And I wanted to come on here and offer my thoughts and say I think that's the furthest thing from the truth. Hi, my name is Dr. Natalie Jones. I'm a licensed therapist, and there's no hate or, anything, disrespect towards this content creator, but her video goes on to, again, talk about how men get upset when women don't maintain their hygiene, like when they start to smell, they're not upkeeping, they're not showering, things like that. And I wanted to kind of come on here and do an educational video based on my many years as a mental health professional working with men and women who may have poor hygiene practices. And I want to also preface this video by saying this video is not meant to disrespect anybody, but it's meant to be purely educational. In my years in working with people who may need more assistance with their hygiene, I've never met a woman with poor hygiene who has a dry phone. And in fact, I think in a lot of cases, poor hygiene, there's something about the pheromones and things like that making, I think, her more attractive. There could be a number of other things too, but, people that don't brush their teeth and, who don't shower, a lot of times, they become a hot commodity, in places like prison, jails, and other places. Like I've even worked in skilled nursing, rehabilitation, all those sorts of things. And there were women, that I've worked with women who haven't showered in, weeks. And again, they have no problem attracting men, when they go out. There is, I don't know if you guys have seen it. There is a show, Orange and the New Black. It's several years old now, but, and just trigger warning or disclaimer. But there is a scene in there where Piper is talking to a male inmate. They're in like a co-ed facility, and I forget what she's asking him for, but she's asking him for some sort of favor, and he says, "I want your underwear." And she's like, "I've been wearing these underwear for a week." And he says, "Even better." And I'm here to tell you, that's not an exaggeration. I think, and I'm not saying all men, but I'm saying a lot of men, you become much more attractive, and that there's a reason why this is like a booming business online where women can sell their dirty socks, their dirty undies, and, in various forms, right? Because some people want a little extra. They want it to be worn this long and that long. And there's people that are out there making a killing off of this online because this is something that men actually like. They like to carry your dirty garments around in their work outfits and things like that. So this is a thing. And I know that a lot of you are out there watching me. Well, Dr. Jones, it might be, other men in the facilities and things like that, or other men with mental health issues. Yes, it can be in a lot of cases, but a lot of times it's also men who work there. It's also women, that would go outside, we would have to take clients on outings and things like that. You almost become a little bit more delectable. And also, as somebody who worked with, sex offenders for a number of years, I think one of the most under-discussed and not thought about population is the homeless population. And I could tell you from experience in working with a homeless population, women who are homeless and sleeping outside and things like that, that either don't utilize or don't have access to hygiene resources, they get assaulted probably the most. So they're at high risk. And so it doesn't stop a show. And then also, too, if you think about Victorian times, where people were literally throwing poop and stuff out the window. The human race did not go extinct. We're here for a reason. People continue to procreate and multiply. Also, too, when diseases, especially STIs, were rampant and got to late stage. Again, we're here for a reason in spite of all those things. And it's not because people were grossed out by poor hygiene practices. So I'm just saying that to, be careful what you consume. And this isn't meant to be disrespectful towards anybody or make light of anybody, but this is meant to be educational, that poor hygiene in a lot of circumstances, from what I have seen, people are drawn to that. Men are drawn to that more. And I do think it has a lot to do with the pheromones. But it's also, again, it's like there's been like an explosion of that in like kinks and communities and things like that. So just FYI, I hope that helps. Thanks so much. And lastly, one other thing that I wanted to say is that if there is, if a man appears to be mad or upset about hygiene issues, in my experience, it's usually for a show or usually to try and gain control through shaming practices. But most men, even men who are just married, and live average, every ordinary lives, do not care. You become more attractive when you're sweaty and you smell bad. Like, that's why, if you have a man, your man might be on you as soon as you come back from the gym or from a workout, because you become much more, again, the pheromones, I think it plays a big part into that. And, most people who've been, who are partnered up, they're like, oh, well, if it becomes a challenge for them, the most they would ever do is say, oh, can you shower up, or something like that. But again, in my experience and working with people who have hygiene challenges, it's never been an issue. They become almost more attractive. It's almost like a delicacy and someone that's highly sought after. Hope that helps.